I'll be the last one left when the lights go out.
The only time that you hear most of people talk about infrastructure is when we are getting ready to vote for another person to take position in office. After which said persons take position in office, no one cares about infrastructure anymore. But if you pay close attention, you'll see that our infrastructure in every sector is declining in every state, all across the United States. But nobody is paying attention to what is happening because they really don't understand what infrastructure entails of. Our infrastructure consists of hard infrastructure, critical infrastructure, taxation, investments, public and private partnership, known as PPP. However, public infrastructure is those facilities and systems and structures that are developed and owned and operated by the government. Smooth flow of an economy, day-to-day activities to enhance people's standard of living, while at the same time these facilities and roads and water supply, electricity and telecommunications are underneath that infrastructure as well. Well, I'll be a mother trucker. That's what I would say if I was still driving commercial trucks, being that I was a Class A commercial truck driver with Double's endorsement. However, with our transportation under the infrastructure, it also includes bridges, roads, airports, railroad, and other transports. Our water infrastructure consists of water supply, water resources, water management, flood management, proper sewage and drainage system, and coastal restoration infrastructure. Then we have our power and energy infrastructure, which is the power grid, the power stations, and wind turbines, gas pipelines, solar panels, those type of things. On the political infrastructure, we have our court of laws, our public security services, police force, defense, and then the telecommunications on the infrastructure, which consists of the telephone network, broadband, and work Wi-Fi services. Those things are what make up the infrastructure in which we abide by here in America. And if you pay attention, these things are declining and things are happening. Another part of the infrastructure that you might not know is part of it is the education infrastructure, which consists of public schools and universities, public training and institutions, as well as the health infrastructure, which is public hospitals, subsidized health clinics. And then last but not least, we have our recreational infrastructure, which is public parks and gardens and beaches and historicals and national reserve areas. Those things are all under our infrastructure here in America, which are also taking a hit as well. And then we have what they call a soft infrastructure, which are institutes that are part of the healthy economy, is what they like to label it as, but is where stakeholders in human capitals are the service oriented toward the population, those private sector people, also part of known as the PPP. Now, this is where it gets really clowny because underneath that soft infrastructure that they like to talk about, that is really not so soft, this is where the education infrastructure, the health infrastructure, the financial infrastructure, and law and order of the government system, like Social Security and other institutions that are considered crucial to the well-being of the economy, that's when they begin to tamper around in that soft area. That's really not soft. It's very wicked. But then you have that of the hard infrastructure, which is the physical systems that are crucial to running a modern industrialized economy. Transport systems, roads and highways, and telecommunication services, such as the telephone lines. Now, the critical infrastructure makes up all the assets that are defined by the government as being crucial to the functioning of an economy. Assets used for sheltering and heating, telecommunications, public health, agricultural, facilities like natural gas, drinking water, medicine. That's called the critical infrastructure. Finances of public infrastructure through taxes by public, private, and private investments and public and private partnership is what they call that infrastructure. Again, financing of public infrastructures. Those of the private partnership and investors, like you hear Donald Trump talk about get the coming in. Yeah, those are the people that will be taxing the public because they're investors. Remember, he had said anything could be sold in America, even America. Now, when it comes to that taxation and investment infrastructure, where those $1,000,000 and $1 billion peoples are going to be coming in, well, with the taxation infrastructure, it's through taxes of the toll roads and other roads that be used that charge those fees. Yeah, they're going to make money off of that. But however, the infrastructure of the taxation is for the use by the public. The general public pays for the infrastructure of these facilities through by taxes. That means you and me and all of our fellow people that are American citizens and migrant workers that are here. We pay for that infrastructure using public roads. And the investors come in and they make money off of it. Now, the investment infrastructure. This is the part that you need to tap into. You guys like to run out here and invest in stuff, but tap into what the wealthy people are tapping into. Private companies choose and invest in a country's infrastructure project as part of their expansion and their initiatives. For example, power and energy companies invest in countries to build railways and pipelines where it want to refine petroleum. That benefits both the company and the domestic economy. So when you see back in the day when they used to be rallying against those pipelines and stuff, well, that's because those big companies come from other places and they invest because they're going to benefit off of it. And then they want to do pipelines. So that's why you always see like the native Indians here in America would fuss about their land and stuff. It wasn't so much as the people in position of authority in America, but those investors that come from outside that come into a country. And then where they say that it benefits the domestic economy, we don't see none of it. It don't benefit because we still be in decline. Only the wealth keeps getting wealthier. But nobody pays attention to what is happening. And so when you have big companies like that, what they do is they come and set up shop here and they still use their country's home address as their base and they don't pay taxes, but we pay the taxes for them. That's part of that taxation and investment infrastructure. Now for the fun part, the 3 P's of the infrastructure. That PPP, wonder why they be coming. He said they looking for y'all. Well, that belongs to the public-private partnership, which consists of 2 or more of a company or people that come together and make up that PPP, as they like to call it. However, that private organization and public service is helped to spread the risk of the economy as well as prosper and bring in investments. So when y'all ran out there and y'all got those PPP loans, those loans weren't coming from a bank. Those were private partnership people. So yeah, they come and collect their money. They want their money back because not so much that you got it, but if you lied and you didn't invest, then they lose. That's why they want that money back. They didn't have a problem with taking the risk management because they billionaires. They're wealthy. That's part of their infrastructure and that's some of the things that they do. But, that's why they send the house out now because some of you didn't invest in nothing. So they didn't get any benefit back from it. So, yeah, they're going to come look for you ones that got that. Those are private partnership organizations. That's part of that infrastructure. But what does that have to do with us? Well, when we don't pay attention to the infrastructure and how the highways and everything is done, and then you guys sit back and you complain, but yet you have your representatives there that are sitting in Congress or whatever, and they put their finger in their eye and say all kind of things that make you feel like, yeah, I'm for you guys, but they're sitting back watching this stuff take place. You have to start with them before you can go and charge at the chief officer in there, because they sit and have those meetings while they riff-raff and twiddle thumb and play like, oh, we're making a difference, or we're doing this or doing that. No, they're not. Everybody need to be accountable on both sides, not just one side, because it takes both sides to run a country, so nobody gets a pass. And this is where you guys need to get on the phone to those that say, vote for me, put me in office, because I'm going to make sure that this and this get done. But that infrastructure is declining. And as they get ready, which is one of the critical things about Social Security, you know that that's a balancing for everyday life for the American people. So why tamper with the critical part of the infrastructure? So before you spend any more time worried about shuffling cards to ask someone looking to see what she's doing, shuffle them cards and ask them to find out what is the government doing and what is about to happen, and make proper investments in things that really matters, instead of investing into those cards trying to get a reading in somebody else's life, because the infrastructure is dwindling and it's going to affect you while you think you're safe. And no need to worry about running to other countries, because if you ain't got stakeholders to invest in there, eventually it'll come to. Trust me. They all are sitting around at the table. Why y'all worried about a table? You know, the World Bank table, the United Nations table, the International Monetary Fund table. Those tables, tables you guys know nothing about. But, however, better pay attention and begin to organize. I think NAACP say Build Back Black. Well, build the infrastructure solid and stop relying on other people's infrastructure. Okay?